All right, guys, I'm a couple minutes late, but we're going to be going over no-shows and policies and protections. Pardon my kitchen. Okay, so let me get back to my desk so I'm not squirrel-brained. I was leaving myself like a list of what we're going to go through so I don't go on a tirade tangent. So I want to kind of go walk you through why your no-show is actually potentially the best free money that you've ever made. And I know that no-shows are real pain in the butt, but when you're running your business like a business and have proper policies in place and plans, it can actually really protect you. So on Saturday, I'm sure you guys have seen this, I had a $2,200 no-show, okay? Now this client had left really, red flaggy vibes to me before I even booked it, and I kind of like saw it coming. So when it comes to booking new clients, I know we have our standard, policies of, I want a deposit of this much, or I want a policy of this much. You can actually modify your policies if you get a red flag client, okay? And if you guys have questions, feel free to drop them in the comments. I'm trying to get on here on my computer to see if I can actually get them to show up. Bear with me here 1 second. We'll see if we can get them to show up. I'll try and keep refreshing to see if we can get them to show up. Okay, so I know a lot of us are like, oh, my deposit is $50 or it's $100 or it's 20% of an appointment. If you get a feeling that a client is going to be a royal pain in your butt, you can up your policy, okay? And this is called basically making some friction. Depends on how badly you want that client, you want that appointment. Is it going to be worth your time? But I want you to keep in mind that you guys are independent artists. You guys are luxury salons. You guys are not 7-Elevens. You guys are not factory lines. You're not mass producing an item. You are providing a service, okay? And services can be modified, just like we actually modify the service for the client and we create that custom client experience. You can modify your client journey experience for that client too, right? To protect yourself. So this $2,200 appointment that I had on Saturday was for dreadlock and dreadlock extensions, like a fresh new set. And this lady called me on Tuesday, and she was borderline manic. Like, I need this done, I need it done. I'm just refreshing to see if we have comments coming in. And something just said, something's not sitting right. So I decided that I was actually going to charge her a little bit more than what I would normally charge a client because something just, it didn't feel right. And you can totally do that too. I refer to it, and I joke, as it's called pain in the ass tax, okay? Obviously, you don't need to tell your clients this, but is it worth your time? Is it worth your effort? I really want you to keep that in mind when you're booking clients. Now, obviously, the more open you are, the more less friction you want between client and appointment, because cash is king at the beginning. But when you get to the point where you're like, I'm full, I'm busy, I'm booked, is this worth my time? That is a real question that you can actually ask yourself, okay? Most people start to panic when they get a no-show. But if done correctly, a no-show can actually make your business money, okay? So you're going to take a deposit. So for myself, on this client, I had taken a $300 deposit, and honestly, it wasn't high enough. And that I'm still kicking myself in the butt for, but whatever. I wanted to pick up some new dreadlock clients because it was a service that I kind of stopped doing, and I wanted to just kind of redo it because it had been a while, and I was like, this looks fun. So I took a $300 deposit to make her custom lock extensions. I probably should have taken 7 or 8. My bad. Got in my head. We all do it. Made the extensions and then got a message from her at 6 p.m. She was supposed to be here at 3 p.m. saying that she wasn't able to make it. Some big personal drama story, okay? And this is where a lot of stylists get it wrong, okay? This sounds cold, but business is based on math, and somebody else's situation is not your situation, okay? Especially if it's a new client. If you don't know this person, just because they've had, a bad day or something, doesn't mean that their bad day should affect your income. Doesn't mean that their bad day should affect your kids. Doesn't mean that their bad day should, take food off your table. And that's where a lot of us get it wrong, so we leave it empty. So you've got 2 choices here. Option 1, you break your own policies. But if you do that, it's going to set you up for that client continuously, taking advantage of you. It's going to set the precedence of, you don't value your policies, so that client is not going to value your policies. My policy is 100% of a no-show. That appointment was $2,200. I think I actually put a post up in this group with a screenshot of what I sent her, and she did not understand. To be honest, I think this client might have actually been using drugs, to be honest. Like, it was a real weird situation. Anyways, I had to explain to her about 9 different times that, like, I would still happily retake her, but she had to pay 100% of the full payment. And that full payment was $2,200. And by, like, attempt number 8, she was like, wait, I have to pay twice. But here's the thing. Just because that person ran into a situation or a problem, whatever that may be, and it could, you know, it could be their car broke down, it could be that they got sick, it could be that they got into an accident, it could be whatever, okay? The reality is that situation has nothing to do with you. And have empathy. Have 100% empathy. Like, show sincere empathy for this person, but realize that business is about math. Now, when you're taking your policy into account, there's 2 things I want you to consider. 1, how much do I actually want this client? 2, what is the situation? Okay? If it's, you know, something absolutely out of control, like, I don't know, this is horrible, but like their grandma died or something, use your judgment. You know, you could make a modification to your policy, but make it very clear. This is a one-time modification to this policy. This is my policy. And make sure that you really, really reiterated that policy when you initially booked that client, so that they know, that they understand that this is a one-time modification. Because unfortunately, if you don't make it very clear, they could potentially still continue to take advantage, okay? The other thing too is their stories and their situation does not pay your bills, okay? The cost of that time, which you should know your hourly operating costs, like for myself, my income goal behind the chair is $160 an hour. I can never get those $160 back, right? If I say book out 8 hours, I can't do math right now because my brain is like toast. That's like 800. What is that? Hang on. Now I'm like, what is that math? I'm like having a real brain fart. 160 times 8. So I know my whole standard day is, yeah, 1,280. That makes sense because that's what I quoted her. And I was like, I can never get that $1,280 back. Now, what your clients may not realize is it may seem that you're being greedy. But the reality is that $1,280 that you just lost, you can't make that up. You can't put another client there. You can't get that time back, right? That is permanently lost money to the business. When I looked at my revenue from a couple years ago and I did the math on like no-shows, I was like, I lost like $25,000 this year because of it. It's crazy. So the question I get asked is like, did this lady pay the $2,200 or did she pay the $2,200? Because I had quoted her $1,280 for the service, and then I had quoted her like another $920 for the extension addition and install or whatever. So it worked out to be like $2,200 plus tax. People are asking me, did she pay that? The answer is no, she didn't. And to be honest, I'm kind of glad she didn't, because this client was giving like real pain in the ass vibes. So for me, after dealing with her for, you know, an hour that night, I was like, this is just not worth my time and effort, and I actually don't want to serve this client. And it's okay to let those clients go. It's 100% okay to let these people go. When you were in that scarcity of, I need this client, I need this client, I need this client, that's when you start to make bad decisions for your business. That like scarcity feeling, right? Clients will leave if I start doing this. But the reality is the clients that you know, love you, respect you, they are going to stay. And work with people. Like, I'm not saying you have to go, oh my God, you know, you owe me $1,280 and you have to pay it today. Work with people. Things happen, right? So with this particular client, I offered her 2 different options. I said, option 1 is, you know, you're going to end up owing me, I think it was $4,400. But I need your next appointment paid in full, and I need today paid in full before I'm willing to book you. And she was like, I have absolutely no money. And I was like, okay, well, I'm happy to take you back on, and I'm happy to work out payment terms with you so that like when we can get this sorted, we can bring you back in. Like we'll set up a payment term, no problem. We also have MetaCard, we also have financing, like we can do it this way. The other option, and I gave her another option, I was like, you can also buy out the extensions, not pay my late fee, and I will refer you to somebody that is cheaper. But I personally cannot take you in my calendar until that day is paid. Now, some people will go and play the me victim card, okay? These are not people you want in your chair. I promise you, they're not. So to get a strong no-show policy, clarity is kindness. So making sure that you were very, 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 very clear. And I had a whole training last week on this, on how to create a pristine welcome journey for your clients so that they understand social media policies, but your no-show policies play just into this. So if you want a copy of that replay, send me a message. It's a really cheap training that we've done, but it walks you through how to ensure that every single client, no matter what, gets this extreme no-show policy guideline and vendor every single time, no matter what your client journey is, because it's super important. It's really important that your clients are signing something, they're committing to this policy. That also protects you from like chargebacks and disputes if there's ever an issue, and also making sure that it's consistent. Okay, so I'm just looking at my points here just so I don't go on tangents. Okay, so why no shows hurt a lot of people is it's lost income, it's wasted product, it's resentment. The other thing though is it's wasted time. And no shows can actually be really powerful if you have like a what to do during no show list. So like I use Trello, and we actually have a whole other training on how to use Trello in your business. If you also want that one as well, feel free to reach out. But it goes through like how to organize your thoughts, your to-dos, your goal list. You know, there's all of these things that you can't get done in a day because there's not enough time in the day. And there's all these projects and these dreams and these goals and things that you're trying to push out. And no show time is the perfect time to power punch a lot of this stuff too, if you're intentional with it. The big thing too is like doctors, dentists, they don't charge you for late fees. If you cancel a subscription late, chances are they're not going to refund you, like things like that, right? So if you're losing hundreds or even thousands a month to no shows, it's boundaries, it's you being too nice to people. And when you're being too nice to people, you're not being nice enough to yourself, you're punishing yourself. So things that you can do: automate confirmation texts and emails. I'm sorry, this whole I forgot I had an appointment thing just boggles my mind, because I'm like 99% of systems now have an automated text in it saying, hey, friendly reminder. Using contracts for big ticket services like extensions, dreadlocks, color corrections, etc. Collecting deposits or storing cards on time so you're not chasing money. Positioning it as not punishment, but respect for everybody's time. It's super important. So these are exactly the types of systems that we do solve inside of the Balanced Business Hub. We do have a new cohort launching October 4th. For the next 3 stylists that hop on board, there is going to be a founders special as well. So if you are, you know, stuck and no-show policies are hurting you, and you would probably say that you're losing over $200 a month to no-shows, this is a program that you want to be in. So if you want to book a call, I'm going to drop my link in this live after I'm done, and you can grab a call on my slot. Oh my God, I cannot talk. You can grab a slot on my calendar, and we can chat a little bit more about like what's going on in your business and how to kind of work out the bottle kinks. But if this was helpful, please let me know. If you have questions for future, please let me know. Bye guys.